I really appreciate that. Basically, I'm a second-generation Adventist. My father was an evangelist his whole life and an author of about a dozen books, a real academic when it came to Hebrew and Greek. But evangelism was in his blood, and that rubbed off onto me very, very clearly. Today, I work for AWR, Adventist World Radio, and we are involved in the evangelism side with TMI, with cell phone evangelism, with television evangelism, with radio evangelism, and with YouTube evangelism. At the moment, we're busy with a Great Reset series. We chose that name because of what's going to happen in January 2021 with the Great Reset, where they're going to aim at trying to, over the next couple of months or years, we have no idea, try and actually dominate the world's 215 economies by making that one simple, one world order economy. I don't think the Lord will allow that to happen. But that Great Reset, we chose those words for our evangelistic campaign. And we have reached, I heard the figures this morning, I think 18,000 people with the English series at this point. So the Lord is very good. Every morning at 5 o'clock, I pray for numerous people that have emailed me with their special prayer requests. And that's really very humbling because relationships start, and that will eventually, hopefully, lead to baptism. And we call that at AWR high touch. So if I ever have the opportunity to teach your congregation and everybody involved here with cell phone evangelism, which is the most effective evangelism tool available today, you need no theological knowledge to become a very effective evangelist. We will teach you how to do high touch. This is basically where you will be able to lead somebody that you've never met in your life to the baptismal pond by building special relationships, by using certain techniques with digital evangelism through medium of your cell phone or your laptop or your desktop computer. You will be able to lead somebody to the baptismal pond with high touch. So I'm busy with that every morning at 5 o'clock with numerous people, building relationships. And that to me is the crux of the matter of evangelistic campaign. It is not preaching the sermons. It is not talking to X amount of people at a time. It is the individual touch where you really help somebody and assist them. As long as they have a quest for truth, then we are able to lead them. And I hopefully will be able to teach everybody participating here today with that sometime in the near future, Frank.
Pastor Gideon, you've always come across to me as a Duracell bunny that's got twice the amount of batteries than he should have. Are you still that way inclined? Because is it a self-supporting ministry? Are you doing it full 100% for AR? How is it working? Tell us a little bit about that.
When I graduated at the seminary, I decided to go with Walter Veit, who I was instrumental in bringing into the truth at that point with a German carpenter. Wilhelm and I were instrumental in that conversion. We then decided not to make ourselves available for a call, but we went into partnership with Walter. And for 2 years, we went around the country talking about evolution versus the creationism. We did that one weekend every month for approximately 2 years. Then Walter went on his own and started his own independent ministry, while he then became a senior lecturer and eventually the professor at Western Cape University. I then started my own independent ministry. So I've had an independent ministry now since 1989. And I make a living by doing something else. AWR do not pay me, and I spend 3 days a week with AWR without any payment. So the other 4 days, I try and put the bread on the table. There's no jam, there's only bread, but God is so good. And my motivation is evangelism. It is to spread what I know. The greatest pleasure I have is to be able to share what I learn. And that is what I learned from my father. So it's got nothing to do with money. I am not financially or materialistically inclined whatsoever. The end of the Lord is so close. We need to concentrate and focus on very, very important things like a relationship with Jesus Christ. That to me is vitally important. And that is what we do at AWR. We get people to that point where they can build a relationship with Jesus Christ. Yes, Frank, so I do support myself financially. We also have a few donors that help us to make ends meet, but technically we try and stir our own pot.
Because I remember we've bumped into each other at very interesting places. One was at the Rand show where you were selling paintings, because I think you also have a love for people. Am I right, or do I get that wrong?
You cannot be an evangelist without a love for people. That is just so true, Frank. Yes, I'm not in the art and the Persian carpet business anymore. At the moment, I do blinds and curtaining. I'm a hotel interior designer, so technically everything that you see in a hotel, I manufacture. Mattresses, lounge suites, dining room tables, mainly curtaining and blinds, etc. So that's what I do for a living.
Okay, now I want to ask to make one comment. The one comment is, I don't think you ever sleep. You can't sleep with what you get involved in. But also I wanted to ask you, won't you tell us when you came to a decision that Jesus was the person you wanted to follow? Do you mind sharing that with us?
Wow, Frank. Yes, let me open my heart a bit to you all. At one point, I was very materialistically orientated. I was absolutely focused on money. And when I really looked at myself from a distance, I realized that I was busy losing my soul. The best thing that ever happened to me was the economic crunch in 2008. At that point, I was making a couple of 100,000 Rand a month gross profit. And I was, really focused on mega business, and things were going exceptionally well. But with the economic crunch, it really forced me to take my business into, to put it onto the shelf, literally, and look at it with a magnifying glass, and look at my life with a magnifying glass. I then decided that direction that I was aiming at was absolutely self-destructive, and I changed my life completely. The Greek word for repentance is metanoia. Metanoia means when you're walking that direction and you've decided to do an about turn, 180 degrees, and you now walk in the opposite direction. That is what happened to my life. I did a complete about turn. It doesn't happen immediately. It took me maybe a couple of months, or maybe a bit of more than a year, to actually get that going. And then I redirected, recalibrated my life to what I am busy doing today. And last week, I became 71 years of age, and the word retirement doesn't exist. My father was the same, I'm the same. It's just the thick German blood, I suppose, within us. So I'm working harder than ever before. I'm sleeping less than ever before. I am motivated more than ever before. I have purpose in my life that I've never had before. And that grows in